Hello again, everybody. This is Don with So Young Designs, and I thought I'd show you how I did that little crazy quilt block and how I did all the stitching on it. I've got a lot of people on Facebook that wanted to know how I did it, so that's what I'm going to work on here for you, try and get this done. This is just a 6x6 block of muslin, just regular old plain muslin, nothing too fancy, and all I do is I just cut wherever I want to cut off of it. Just cut some angles into it. It could be however you want to do it. You can even just start with a square if you really wanted to, but trying to make it crazy looking, so I just kind of put a bunch of different angles on it and we'll go from there. I also have a bag over here. I just grabbed one bag of a bunch of green scraps. That's just keep all my scraps and everything I cut I keep, and then I coordinate by colors and throw them into a bag, and then I can go from there. So I just grabbed a bunch out of the pile here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to press some of them, cut some of them, get some stuff together, and then when I get it all ready to start doing it, I'll be back. Okay, everybody, I think we're kind of ready here. I've got a bunch of the scraps. I just ironed them, pressed them a little bit. They're pretty wrinkled, just to make it easier to work with. And then I didn't do anything special to them. No fusibles on the back, nothing. No spray starch, no nothing. Just iron them just to get them kind of straight. And then I decided to go ahead and cut a couple more angles on this base piece, just to make it interesting and see what happens. I've never done it. I usually do it with 5 sides. Now this one's, I think it's got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 7 or 9. So we should be interesting. Let's see how it goes. So basically what you're going to do is you're just going to grab whatever piece of fabric you want to do first. You're going to lay it right sides together, and you'll just sew your 1/4 inch seam right along here, and then we'll flip it over and we'll press it. Then after we press it, we're going to take it to the cutting table, and we're just going to cut here, and we're going to cut here. And basically what that's going to do is going to add that triangular piece. And then the next piece will come along, and we'll stitch it that way, and then we'll just work our way around the centerpiece and cut some angles and see how it goes. So I'm going to sew down the first piece, and then we'll cut it, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we got the first piece sewn on, just 1/4 inch seam. And then I just pressed it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to cut here. Okay, the first piece is cut, so now I'm just going to take the next piece, and I can probably just put it right about here, right sides together, so that way when it's done, I'll continue to cut that way and cut that way, and then just continue working my way around. I'm going to get a couple of pieces on, and then I'll be back. Okay, I sewed this piece on, but I wanted to show you something real quick. Normally you can just cut straight along here, and then straight along here, but that keeps squaring the quilt up. I don't want it to get squared just yet. I want to keep some angles to it. So what I did is I just came from here and I just cut across at an angle like that. So now I got more angles, and I'm trying to get as many angles as possible. So now what I'll do is I'll probably come along and I'll probably sew something across here at an angle. I'd probably just cut this right here and sew this across at an angle and just see what happens. Just keep trying to play with the angles and see what it does. Okay, got a couple pieces on there, and I just want to stop here for a second and kind of let you see something. This piece here was a very large piece, a large square. It wasn't so much just using up strips, like I got a bunch of strips there. So if you got a large piece like this, now how are you going to cut this? Are you just going to cut it as a strip? Are you going to cut this angle? Can you intersect these two angles? Well, that's what you can do, because you got so much fabric here. You can actually cut this at a point. So what I can do is I can continue this angle for as far as I want. I can continue it all the way to here and then to here, or I can do it, you know, just short and then come across. So I'm going to cut this whichever way it looks the best, and just play with it and play with the angles and see what you can come up with. Okay, as you see, I can I've added some more strips to it, kind of working it around. You can see I'm trying to keep cutting different angles just to keep it so they're not just always straight strips, and trying to keep the angles. But as you start getting bigger, I marked a center point right here. I just basically figured out kind of where the center is, just kind of eyeball it. And if I put that down, you can see I still need more along here, here, and here. So I'll just keep going and working. I can rotate it and see which one I want to go, but I'll just keep going until I get a little bit bigger. And then basically this is just an 8.5 grid, so I'm just going to make it to this size. And then that way I can just make all my blocks that size, and then I'll put the quilt together when it's all done. But let me keep going on this, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I got the block pretty much done. Got everything sewn on that I think I need. What I've got now is I marked the center there, so I'm going to take my my quilt block here, my 8.5 square, and just get it lined up, and then basically just trim all the way around it and make our block. So hopefully you can see that pretty well. Looks like some reflection on the glass, but there you go. So let me get this cut and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. You can see I got it all squared up now. Looks pretty good. I think it came out really well. A lot of nice angles, a lot of nice colors. And then this is a Pellon 950F SureTailor. It's a nice fusible interfacing. It's kind of a medium interfacing. It's really good. And what I'll do is I'll cut a piece that fits exactly on this and I'll fuse it to the back. It makes this a lot stiffer and a lot easier to do all the sewing detail when I'm going to be doing along all these lines here. And I use the laser and the laser guide and the sensor pen. So let me get this thing fused up and then we'll take it in the sewing room. We'll start working with the pen. Thanks. Okay, we got this all pressed and ready. I just wanted to make sure that all my seams are laying down. They're all in good shape. There's nothing flipped back over or anything, so it gets it as flat and as smooth as possible. So now what I'll do is this side, you can see, has a bumpy glue side. I'll put the bumpy glue side down and we'll set this down. Okay, as you can see, it's all fused down now, so it sticks really, really well, especially on the edges, which is nice, which makes this really nice and smooth and makes it, like I say, a lot stiffer, so it makes it easier to sew on. And we're going to sew on it with no batting, nothing. We're just going to put all the decorative stitches along these lines using the laser pen and the guide mark and everything. And I'm going to take you into the sewing room. I'm going to show you how to do that. And then when we're all done, we'll put batting on it and we'll do some stippling in here. And we'll take it and we'll use the IQ Designer and we'll scan out these boundaries and then tell it to stipple just in here. I've also got some motif different stitches, so I might try and do some different stuff in here in the corners and see what it does, but we'll mess with it. It's a great way to practice, great way to experiment, and there are no rules, so you can do whatever you want.